This car sold for more than $4 million, but it started out costing a single dollar. And it is not the most expensive, nor the fastest, nor the strangest one in this story. For more than 80 years, the same car has reinvented itself again and again. It changed shape, engine, and soul. Because each version was the mirror of its era. It is not one car, it is many. From a simple street car to a military tank, this is the complete story of all of them. It all began in 1943, and what many people do not know is that the first car of this hero was a completely ordinary car. A 1939 Cadillac convertible, straight from the street, without a single special detail. The same car the millionaire Bruce Wayne used in his day-to-day. The only trick was the top. Down, it was the car of the millionaire. Up, it became the vehicle of the hero. That was the whole disguise. 6 years later came a second car, a dark red 1949 Mercury, also stock, also unmodified. It was so heavy and turned so badly that they wrecked cars again and again during filming. They went through several of them. Being a normal car, they simply brought another one and kept rolling. And here is the great irony. In the comics, this car was already a gothic beast with fins and a bat nose. Drawn since 1941, the movies would take decades to catch up with the paper. In 1966, the first real one finally arrived, and it was born from a forgotten failure. It was the Lincoln Futura, a 1955 prototype hand-built in Italy that had cost a fortune and had spent years sitting in a corner with no future. The designer George Barris bought it for a single dollar, and in just 15 days, with a budget of $15,000, he turned it into the car that would define a generation. Black with crystal domes and sharp fins, the Futura already looked like a factory-made bat. Someone just had to wake it up. Decades later, that $1 car sold at auction for more than $4 million. In 1989, everything changed. Director Tim Burton buried the colorful tone and asked for a war machine. Illustrator Julian Caldo drew it under the direction of Burton and Anton Furst, inspired by land speed record cars and Gothic architecture. It was built on two Chevrolet Impala chassis, joined together. The turbine in the nose carried real parts, components from a Rolls-Royce jet engine and blades from a Harrier fighter. It had no doors, but they designed a canopy that slid forward, just like on the Harrier itself. It was so iconic that it defined how we picture this character to this day. The shadow of this design falls on every car that came after. But then came the change of direction, and the excess began. In 1995, under designer Barbara Ling and illustrator Tim Flattery, came a car with biomechanical looks, ribs, and blue lights. It used no donor base, custom chassis, fiber body, and a Chevrolet V8 with 345 horsepower. The full-size version spat a huge flame from the back. It even had a harpoon hook to climb up walls. Spectacle ruled over logic. In 1997, designer Harold Belker took it to the limit. A single-seat convertible, also with a custom chassis and a V8 inspired by racing roadsters like the Jaguar D-Type. With the biggest fins ever mounted on a real Bat car. Brighter and brighter, more exaggerated, more like a toy. And the public got tired. In 2005 came the most radical break in the whole story. And everything changed. Designer Nathan Crowley and the director did not draw sketches. They glued pieces of scale model kits together until they found the shape. They defined it as a cross between a Lamborghini and a Humvee. They named it the Tumbler. A team of 30 people carved a full-size model. And then they did something nobody expected. They built it for real. No computer effects. It was a real, drivable vehicle that did almost everything you see on screen. It topped 100 miles per hour, and it really jumped. It was pushed to the limit again and again. One anecdote from filming says it all. Driving at night, a drunk driver crashed into it, convinced it was an alien ship, and accelerated to attack it. That tank buried the toy car forever, and it set the path for everything that came next. In 2016 came an in-between version designed by Patrick Tatopoulos, sleeker than the tank, but with a frontal machine gun and a military feel. Half armored vehicle, half classic car. And in 2022, the final turn. Director Matt Reeves wanted no tank and no ship. He wanted a wild beast, hand-built in a garage. The base, a Dodge Charger from the late 60s, custom tubular chassis, stripped bodywork, and a V8 with more than 600 horsepower mounted in the center. After the tank and the ship, the most famous car in the world came back to its roots, pure street muscle, raw and homemade. And so, in 80 years, this car has been a stock Cadillac, a neon toy, a military tank, and a homemade muscle machine. But its story does not end on the big screen. In 1992, it jumped to television with the animated series. Designer Shane Poindexter blended the Gothic style of '89 with the New York of the '30s. For an entire generation, that was their first version of this car. Being drawn, it had no limits. Flamethrowers, grappling hooks, ejector seats, things that would never fit in a real car. And in 2015 came the leap that cinema could not make. In video games, the car became a beast that transformed on the move. Its look drew from the movie cars and the animated series, but its abilities were new. It turned into a tank at the push of a button, and each wheel rotated on its own to move sideways. The car that started out costing $1 and sold for millions is only one chapter. Every version in film, TV, or games told us who its owner was in each era, because it was never just a car. It was the mirror of its time, chapter by chapter, for generations. We want your opinion of all of them. Which one is the real one for you? Is there any version missing from this video? Tell us in the comments. And if you enjoyed this ride, subscribe, like, and share. Every week, a new story from car history.